Georgia's on our mind. Coming up on the bench, Syracuse men's hoops took care of business at Georgia Tech on Saturday. Find out who shined in the Orange's bounce-back win in Atlanta.
Plus, a 2-game road trip down south for Syracuse women's basketball. And at the perfect time, the Orange seemed to be finding its groove in ACC play, winning 3 of its last 4 conference games. Could FLJ and her squad keep the momentum rolling at Georgia Tech and at number 13 Duke?
And Syracuse ice hockey was looking to get back into the win column this past weekend at Lindenwood. Did the Orange make it a clean sweep? The answer to that shortly. On the Bench is back, and it starts right now. Hey there, welcome to On the Bench with Nick Zelaya. I'm Trey Redfield. Thanks so much for joining us. Nick, it's the first show of the semester, and it's a semester that Syracuse Athletics has been starting to get on a roll with.
Yeah, I would say the men's basketball team playing well in conference play so far. The other teams, they got some time to figure it out, let's just say nicely.
Women's hoops looks pretty solid, too. Obviously, trying to get that first top 25 win. That and a whole lot more to get to tonight, and we begin with this week's headlines. Over the winter break, Syracuse football saw changes left and right on its coaching staff. In the last 7.5 weeks, the Orange have had 5 assistant coaches leave for other opportunities, including former defensive coordinator Tony White, now at Nebraska, and former offensive coordinator Robert Denai, making the in-conference move to NC State. Dino Babers responded, though. His replacements are highlighted by Rocky Long, considered to be the father of the 3-3-5 defense. Also, Travis Fisher coming in as another assistant coaches for SU. And then with that, staying in-house on the offensive side, elevating quarterbacks coach Jason Beck to offensive coordinator last month, also serving as the QB's coach as well this season.
Syracuse men's lacrosse plans to retire Mike Powell's jersey before the Orange face Johns Hopkins on March 11th. Powell was the first 2-time winner of the Tewaaraton Award in 2002 and 2004. The same years he led SU to national championships. Powell was also the only 4-time winner of the Jack Turnbull Award for the nation's best attackman. He's also the all-time points leader in Orange history. Powell, he really did it all with Syracuse and joins Gary Gate with their jerseys up in the rafters, and I bet more will come soon.
111. That's how many points Megan Tyrell scored for Syracuse women's lacrosse last year. Yeah, that's pretty good, and it's good enough for the grad student to be named the USA Lacrosse Magazine's Division I Women's Preseason Player of the Year. Out of those 111 points, 78 of them were goals. Right now, Tyrell is 88 career points behind Katie Rowan's school record of 396. The chase is on, and so are the lights for the Attackers' final season in Orange that begins on Saturday, February 11th against Northwestern. Follow Adam Avon on Twitter @_Adam Avon for everything Cuse Women's lacks this season.
We've been gone for over a month now. It does feel amazing to be back inside the CitrusTV studios. But the Sports on the Hill, it didn't stop while we enjoyed, well, a warm winter break. It was in like the 60s in Connecticut, right?
Isn't that crazy?
It's
60s
nuts.
in Connecticut?
I didn't see any snow all of winter break, which was a shock. Now, the clock is ticking right at the commercial break.
I gotta go.
The ref's doing this. It means to go. It's a 2-minute drill. We recap all the action from over winter break.
All right, we begin with the end for Syracuse football. 6-0 to start off the year, but 1-6 the rest of the way. That included a 28-20 loss to Minnesota in the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl. Sean Tucker, Matthew Bergeron, and Michael Jones all did not play during the bowl game due to the clearing for the NFL draft. The Orange wrap up the year with a 7-6 record and almost a complete changeover on Dino Babers' coaching staff.
4 wins and 2 brutal losses for Cuse men's hoops, and I mean heartbreaking for every SU fan out there. A 2-point loss to Pittsburgh and a late comeback just falling short in Charlottesville against UVA. But the Orange have kept themselves near the top of the ACC standings. A big reason why? Joe Girard III. Over that 6-game span from Pitt to Notre Dame, the senior guard averaged just under 20 points while shooting 44% from deep. The surrounding cast has performed at a top level too. 4 of the top 7 scorers on this team are freshmen. Some positives on the men's side over break. For the women, not the best stretch of games, Trey.
Especially against ranked opponents, Nick. I mean, yeah, the Orange did grab some wins in ACC play, but still looking for that win against the top 25 team. SU got it done against Wake Forest, Pittsburgh, Clemson, and Boston College, but a loss against Louisville and fourth quarter meltdowns against 6th-ranked NC State and 7th-ranked Notre Dame were the biggest question marks, and the Cuse really needs that win to bolster its tournament resume.
Even after a month of not touching the ice, Syracuse hockey didn't have to stress about the rink melting. A freezing cold streak to end 2022 and enter the New Year losers of 4 straight. Up next, 2 top 10 teams, and safe to say it was no easy task. The number 5 team in the nation, Colgate, put up a 5-piece beating SU 5-2, and then number 10 Cornell came to Tennessee and won 4-1. Luckily for Syracuse, it's all CHA the rest of the way, but some work to do in order to repeat bringing a conference championship back to the 3-1-5. The 2-minute drill. Give me Redfield over Prescott any day. Trey, back to you at the desk.
Well, Nick, if that's the case, then give me Zelaya over CD Lamb. But going into last week, Syracuse men's hoops was looking solid. Winners of 3 of their last 4, the Orange were still looking for something they've yet to secure this season, a Quadrant 1 win. A chance to check off that box came last Monday at 17th ranked Miami. Not only an opportunity to grab a Quadrant 1 win, but how about a win against a top 25 team down in sunny Coral Gables? Wasn't off to a good start, though. About 2.5 minutes in, Nigel Pack on the left wing, he says +3. 8-2 Miami. That was part of an 11-2 opening run for the Hurricanes. Syracuse would respond, though. 8-minute mark, Jesse Edwards with the flush. That deficit for the Orange now cut down to 2, but no longer a deficit thanks to Justin Taylor. He drains the Trey over on the right side. Syracuse up 26-24, its first lead of the evening. How about Jesse Edwards? So fun to watch. He gets the layup here, had a career-high 25 points. That was 2 of them right there, and it led to Syracuse being up by 4 at the halftime break. But coming out of the second half, Syracuse kept it going. How about Benny Williams with the mid-range? Puts the Orange up 10, 6.5 minutes into the second half, but Miami would respond. Pack once again. From the wing again, he drains the 3. That deficit for the Hurricanes down to 1. Pack had 15. Now 4 minutes left. Harlan Beverly, the transition slam. Miami up 71-70. Now crunch time with Judah Mintz. One last try. He can't get it. Miami takes it 82-78.
That elusive quad 1 victory for Syracuse. We'll have to wait a bit longer, but a chance to get back on track against Georgia Tech. Just 2 years ago, this team was holding up the ACC tournament trophy. Not the same type of year for the Yellow Jackets this season. Just 1 win so far in conference play. Syracuse down to Atlanta to face this Yellow Jackets team trying to get back on track, find their 9th win. Losers of 4 straight games. How about Dallin Coleman? He gets the scoring started for Georgia Tech. Hits the triple to give Yellow Jackets a 7-3 lead. And on the shot sheet here, it says Davon Smith goes dummy. Well, I can't disagree with that. The slam, 12-5 Georgia Tech. How about this? A 17-0 run for Syracuse puts them back in front in just a span of 5.5 minutes, and it was led really by Joe Girard. 18 first-half points for the senior, but it wasn't just him getting involved. How about Malik Brown? He has been a stud for the Orange over the last 5-6 games. Throws down the dunk 40-33 at the break. Dallin Coleman again, he hits the triple to cut the Syracuse lead to just 6 points. He led the Yellow Jackets with 17. There's Miles Kelly, who hits the 3-pointer, but again, Syracuse just too much. Joe Girard, 28 points on the night, hitting the 3 in the defender's face. A little smirk over to the bench. Always love to see that. And how about freshman to freshman, Judah Mintz to Malik Brown, another dunk. Brown finishes with 17 on the night. And then doing it on defense as well. Strips the ball. Syracuse 3-on-1. Girard, no look to Brown. He finishes it. Johnny Damwitz was down in the ATL. Recap the action.
Well, it's no secret that basketball is a game of runs, and today, Syracuse men's hoops made sure Georgia Tech learned that the hard way. The Yellow Jackets led 25-16 early on in the first half before the Cuse went on a 17-0 run, and that was the difference en route to an 80-63 victory here at McCamish Pavilion. Joe Girard spearheaded SU's effort with 28 points, and he's certainly no stranger to going through hot streaks.
Keep moving, trying to find my spot. These guys do a good job of screening for me, looking for me, and it makes my job a lot easier. Sometimes, you just got to knock down open shots, get to your spots, and look for advantages, like I said.
Joe, had a huge first half, huge game. He was tremendous. Smith's a pretty good defensive player, and he just was tremendous.
When you go on a kind of run like that and you kind of gain the momentum, it does a lot for you. I mean, even in this kind of away environment, we kind of had a home crowd. We had fans here cheering for us, so we had them behind us, and it just gave us a lot of momentum to again change that mindset to be positive and go forward.
During that 17-0 Syracuse run in the first half, Joe Girard himself responsible for 13 of those points. But JG3 wasn't the only reason the Cuse cruised to a victory today. Jim Boeheim implemented a full-court press, something we haven't seen a ton of this year, and, well, it helped cause 16 Yellow Jacket turnovers on the day. We'll find out if it's a similar narrative on Tuesday when Syracuse welcomes preseason number 1, but currently unranked North Carolina to the Dome for a 9 p.m. tilt. Until then, reporting from McCamish Pavilion, I'm Johnny Gadamowitz, CitrusTV.
Still plenty to get to on the bench. Syracuse women's hoops needed to bounce back after a 16-point home loss against 7th-ranked Notre Dame a couple of Sundays ago. Find out if the Orange made their road trip down south successful when we come back.
Here's to the straggly ones, the lopsided ones, the first ones, the I miss my beard ones. And hey, I look good with this ones. But no way he's grown that in a week ones. The black, brown, red, and gray ones. The, that one. The itchy ones. The never forgotten ones. The ones grown by Dad. The ones grown for Dad. The started late ones. The absolutely filthy ones. The drawn on ones. The finger ones. The pin ones. The I nearly didn't do it this year ones. And the yeah, why not ones. They all raise awareness, raise funds, start conversations, and save lives. Because whatever you grow will save a bro. Learn more at Movember.com.
Back on the bench, she's Nick Zelaya. I'm Trey Redfield. Nick, Cuse Women's Hoops has been fun to watch this season, but had a couple of hiccups down in Durham and Atlanta this past weekend.
Felicia Leggett-Jack has really energized this team, turned them around. Yeah, I mean, you talked about after a fourth quarter dominated by Notre Dame to snap that Syracuse 3-game winning streak last Sunday. Up next, like you said, Trey, trip to Atlanta to face Georgia Tech, a team who is winless in conference play, 0-7. Talk about an opportunity to get back on track for the Orange. Let's get to the highlights now. Syracuse and Georgia Tech. And early on, Syracuse, it was really just back and forth between these two teams. Kyra Wood hits the layup. Georgia Tech at 500, 9-9 on the year, but looking for that first win in ACC play. And I mean, these teams, they were just trading baskets back and forth, back and forth. There was Avance Carter who hits the three from the wing. Georgia Tech just trailing by 2 points against Syracuse. And how about Cameron Sports? What a game for her. She hits a triple from the exact same spot. The Yellow Jackets a 1-point lead going into halftime. But how about Deasia Fair finds Elena Rice, who hits the triple right in front of her bench and gives Syracuse the lead once again. 37-34, 4-point lead for Syracuse. How about this move? Nice. Gets a couple Orange in the air. Team high 17 for Swartz. She hits the basket. The Orange up by 2, but the Yellow Jackets, they began to run away quickly with this one. Bianca Jackson to turn around. Tony Morgan, though, 16-15 for her. Georgia Tech pulls out a 12-point victory, their first win in conference play. And Georgia Tech, they used a 12-2 run late in the fourth quarter to pull away from Syracuse and pick up that first win, led by a career night, like I mentioned, from Tony Morgan, the freshman guard from Tallahassee, 16 points, 15 rebounds, while also posting her most efficient night shooting the ball. The Yellow Jackets, they had 39 points off the bench compared to just 5 for the Orange. Farron Hyman led the way for SU, and Dariana Lewis, the only other player in double figures for Syracuse.
So a bad loss down in Atlanta. versa, but a chance to put it away for the Cuse in Durham. Sunday, the Orange faced 13th ranked Duke, who also is coming off of a road loss. The Blue Devils just took an L just right down the road against 17th ranked North Carolina. So what's got to give? Someone's got to pull out a win, and for the Cuse, it's still looking for that first top 25 dub. Looked pretty good early. Tisha Hyman with the right wing three gets the first points for the Cuse. A few minutes later, Georgia Woolley on the fast break lays it up and in with the right. The Orange up 11-4 on the Dukies, but Vanessa De Jesus would answer with the mid-range. 2 minutes to go. It has Syracuse right now 15-10 up after one, but Duke came out storming, outscoring the Cuse by 10 in the second, leading 29-24 at the halftime break. Deasia Fair is just so fun to watch. She gets the jumper there. She and Elena Rice combined for 27 points on the afternoon, and Sanaya Wilson kept it going in the third, keeping the Cuse in the ball game. That cut the deficit to 4, but it was all Dukies from here. 34 seconds left in quarter number 3. Reagan Richardson with the jumper to put Duke up 6, and it was the Blue Devils that would take it by a final of 62-50. And we've seen a couple of times this year where the Orange have fallen apart in a certain quarter. Sometimes it's been the third, most of the time it's been in the fourth. But on Sunday, it was the second quarter where Cuse was outscored 19-9. We've yet to see SU grab that top 25 win that everyone is waiting for, dropping to not only 0-3 against ranked opponents, but also 4-5 in ACC play.
Jesse Cook here on the bench. You know a little something about this show. We dragged you right back into it. How's it going?
Look, it's going well. I'm happy to be here, and I think I get the structure of how we do this now.
I think you have a solid idea. Well, let's talk some hoops first. Tisha Hyman, she's taken a step back, become that second option on this Syracuse team ever since Deasia Fair came to the Orange. What would you say is Hyman's role on this team right now?
Well, right now it's number 2. Think about it like an orchestra. No musician wants to be second chair. They want to be first. Tisha Hyman, she's not used to being second fiddle to Deasia Fair. First of all, yeah, her point numbers have dropped. In 2021-22, she averaged 16 points per game. That's dropped to around 12. It also doesn't help that she holds the distinction of being number 1 in turnovers in the Atlantic Coast Conference. That's not a leadership role you want to take.
The Orange struggling as a team as well, not just Hyman. 3 straight losses now, 2 of those to ranked opponents Duke and Notre Dame. What has gone wrong for this Orange team to cause this slump they're going through?
Well, there's 2 things. Number 1, the ranked play, like you mentioned. I'll get to that in a second. But the main thing in my mind is their shooting struggles. So 3 losses in the last 3 games. In each one of those tilts, SU shot below 40% and was outshot by its opponent. The Cuse are 2-6 in games where they shoot below that 40% clip. Now, also, you have to take ranked play into account with number 7 Notre Dame, number 13 Duke, and then number 6 NC State back in December. The Orange are 0-3 against ranked opponents, and head coach Felicia Leggett-Jack doesn't exactly have the best track record against top-tier teams either. She's been a head coach at 4 different schools over 20 years, and in that time, her record in ranked play is just 6-39.
Lots of time, though, until March, and that means a lot of basketball. So you should follow this man, at Jesse Cook TV, for complete Syracuse women's basketball updates on Twitter throughout the rest of the season. Thanks so much, Jesse.
Thank you, Nick.
We'll take a quick break on the bench. When we come back, Syracuse hockey and Syracuse tennis. Well, they were in action this past weekend. The hockey team took a trip to Lindenwood. And how about tennis? Off to a strong start to the season. We'll take a quick break.
They took over my bedroom. Come on. Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. Dad! You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Thanks for joining us on the bench. That's Trey Redfield. I'm Nick Zelaya. A completely different story for Syracuse hockey this year after winning the CHA tournament last year. First-year head coach Brittany Smith still trying to figure it out with conference play just around the corner, Trey.
They've had a couple of CHA games and also a lot of non-conference games for the Orange, tough ones too, but it's been an up and down season. A first one for Syracuse head coach Brittany Smith. The Orange began the calendar with home losses, the 5th-ranked Colgate back on January 10th and 10th-ranked Cornell a week later. But now Cuse is back into CHA play, where it got back on track at Lindenwood last Friday. Syracuse dominated with a 4-1 win thanks to a freshman phenom. Rhea Hicks, remember the name. She led the way with a pair of goals in the victory. She kept it going on Saturday with a pair of assists, but Lindenwood erupted. The Orange fell in that one 6-3, giving up 3 goals in the second period. Milestones were hit over the weekend, though. Arielle DeSmet made her 2,000th career save, and Lauren Bellefontaine scored her 100th point. Right now, Cuse is in a 6-game stretch that lasts 10 days, and it continues tomorrow night at home against RIT, a team the Orange lost to tonight 5-3. A chance for revenge comes tomorrow night at 10 at the Ice Pavilion at 6.
Well, a strong start to Syracuse tennis to open its 2023 campaign, dominating the New Jersey Institute of Technology 7-0. And then the Terriers of BU made their way to Drumlins for an out-of-conference matchup. And again, all Orange winning 6-1 over Boston University, losing just one doubles match. Our Citrus TV tennis reporter Sam Reese recaps an exciting win for SU.
2 duels in and just 1 point conceded by the Orange thus far as Syracuse took care of business in a 6-1 victory over Boston University today. However, the scoreline might be a bit deceiving as there were plenty of competitive singles matches today, including an intense battle in singles for Zeynep Erman right here on court 4. After the match, Coach Limam talked about Erman's strong start to the season thus far.
And singles yesterday, I think yesterday's match helped her a little bit with today, just gaining that confidence and getting back to competing and playing the bigger points better. So very pleased on her effort and energy today.
Speaking of bigger points, those bigger points will be very important down the road for Syracuse when ACC play comes around. But for now, Erman played with plenty of passion today and is also playing with a lot of confidence, which could be a key for Syracuse going forward. Speaking of going forward, next up for the Orange is a contest with Cornell. That will be Friday at 3 p.m. right here at Drumlins. Make sure to follow my Twitter at Samuel Reese TV and at Citrus TV Sports for all the updates of that one. Reporting from Drumlins, I'm Sam Reese, Citrus TV.
Putting a bow on the show when we come back. Find out who shined the brightest this past week on the Hill. Performers of the week and top plays are next on OTB.
Jason, let's go see your room.
What do you think? We kept it a little spare, so you can decorate it how you like.
Dinner! Go?
Excellent. Soccer is fun. Yeah, I saw you guys out there.
Wrapping up on the bench with the greatest 1-2 punch Citrus TV has to offer. You know what that is, right, Nick?
I'm going to guess me and you.
It is me and you, yes. But the one after that, it's our performers of the week. Let's get right into it. We begin with Syracuse tennis. Zeynep Erman starts us off thanks to a dominant start to 2023. The senior won both her singles and her doubles matches this past weekend against NJIT and Boston University. Erman was dominant, and the Orange begin the year strong thanks to her with wins over NJIT and BU. How a good start to 2023. 2-0 to begin the season. Just got to keep it going, though. ACC play will show up one of the best conferences in college tennis.
I'll state the obvious. Better than 1-1 and 0-2. That's all I'll say.
That's a good
That's
point.
all I'll say. Let's hit the ice. The points leader for Syracuse hockey added a few more tallies to her total over the weekend with a pair of really strong performances against Lindenwood. Lauren Bellefontaine, she dished out an assist to open the scoring in a 4-1 victory Friday night. And then Saturday, she put on an A++ effort, scoring 2 goals for the first time in 3 seasons and picked up another assist to make her the 4th Orange ever to total 100 career points. What a feat for Bellefontaine, who's also 8 assists away from first all-time in SU program history. Expect a big run from the captain as we get into conference play.
She had the A last year, wearing the C this year. Lauren Bellefontaine has been fun to watch on the hill. We rounded out with Syracuse men's hoops. Number 11 on the floor, number 1 in your heart. Joe Girard III is that dude. No, it's not solely because he's our top performer of the week, but it's because he's given the ACC buckets right now. In conference games, Girard is averaging an ACC leading 20.8 points per contest. That includes a 21-point performance at Miami and a 28-point showing against Georgia Tech. I don't know if anyone has said it yet, Nick, but I will. You guys got to get off the tracks wherever you're watching because the JG3 train is coming through a basketball court near you.
I've heard the LeBron train. I've heard the LeBron train before when he's just muscling guys to get to the hoop. But I'll take JG3 too. Yeah. I'll take Girard too. Top performers. How about some top plays as well? Always love the fundamentals, but when you can add that special sauce to a play, makes it that much better. We start at number 5. We go down back to Atlanta, Syracuse, and Georgia Tech men's hoops. And this is, I said we like fundamentals, we like special sauce.
Like ball movement.
This is fundamentals right here. How about the ball movement to find that guy? Joe Girard, he drains the triple. Hold on, we're not done with that game just yet.
Number 4, we go to Drumlin. So we've talked about Zeynep Erman being dominant. Well, this is a big reason why. Staying with it, getting the forehand on it, getting it over her opponent as well. Erman with a beautiful finish. How about one more look at it? Staying with it. The senior is a big reason why Cuse is 2-0 on the young season.
Let's go to number 3, and let's go, well, back to Atlanta. How about Jesse Edwards throwing it down off the alley-oop pass? I mean, when you're that big, the game is just so much easier.
It's so good. But how about number 2? For number 2, the Asia Fair. That's not fair, some would say. That was a filthy move from the Asia down in Durham on Sunday. One more look at it. She's just does everything for this team. So fast, so efficient, gets it done with the mid-range, can go deep as well, but her efforts did not put the Orange up top.
Our number 1 play on the bench, Judah Minstead, Jesse Edwards, who flushes it home down in Miami. Syracuse, they had the top play, but Miami, they had the 82-78 victory.
I think the Orange would have liked to have had the win over the top play, knowing that they still need that quadrant 1 win, Nick.
I mean, that would have been huge. They had the opportunity. They had an 11-point lead in the second half, but Miami, they're a really, really good team. Probably one of the best teams in the ACC right now.
The ACC is looking stout, even with not the top teams that are up. Clemson is finding a way to get it done, and Syracuse right now taking on North Carolina. That's a much-needed win for the Orange.
That's another team you can't look away from in Duke. Both Duke and North Carolina, both unranked right now. When it comes to tournament time, rankings, they disappear.
They don't matter.
No, anyone. So UNC last year made the championship as an 8 seed. Anything's possible.
That wraps up OTB. He's Nick Zelaya. I'm Trey Redfield. We leave you with our images of the week.
Miami's a team that can shoot the ball, 49% overall, very good at the foul line. And looking to beat that zone tonight of Jim Boeheim. And we are underway as Miami wins the opening tip. Oh, Mr. Edwards says hello. Bell will let fly. Mitz stuck it in there, draws the foul.
Justin Taylor lines up the 3, knocks it down, and the first lead for the Orange.
Mitz going over the top and a big-time slam by Edwards. It's given up the dribble. Williams straight on. He buried a triple. Gerard, his first three tonight.